Matip ngayak pulih hai ni hai. Bagi sendang bayo breu am, ki em news nam tam, ya kitu bo shomor wai, ko mamia.
Wat mudur li min em temian mea. Nam kum ta ti mayai hapun sai so nap kin chong mea.
Ma kertang complete. Tempat jing em jong ma, incomplete.
Ki khubor ka Batesi TV ka umdi bas nyambat penjaslian. Rupa Premium Meghalaya.
Yaga Northeast Conclave 2.0 lapanlong hagan riu tarik urumpang arajar arpun riu daga Meghalaya Rural Livelihood Society bat kapang pedang jonggane gejingyalang kalong integrating natural farming and natural resource management into economic inclusion of the most excluded. Kani kedai ke program ke batemu ban kentiu bat ban penslur ya ke rukam rap dan rai. Harengkat ke jing ajing tip syakinong rap bakin tip syapang ke rukam rap kat kum ke juk sayan ke bemtah ke bakin la ban penduna ya ke jinglot. Kenang bakan yarap ban kentiu ya ke yok ke kot jong ginong rap. Hagani ke jing yalang gidon gibawan mi khmat naki khat artli gijela bat lengba kani mentala sedang man rap hagani ke rukam ke batemai haki arhajar praspa saupunyo akar ke jaka. Bat gumbasan hajar ngut ginong rap gila sedang ya kene kekam lengba ke jingerap naga MSRLS. Hang ni gidon ki riu syampang ginong rap bat ki nong tau an ban ya kren kumno ban pen klan ya ga yo ka kot ha nong gendong lengba ke rap keriang. Hakani ke Northeast Conclave 2.0 nilai kenduri ai wei nagi nong rap ibadai naga Mauthat Raisan block bat idai nak senong meriau ibalai thu yangi kumno ke jingyo nong jungi hagani ke rukam rap ke batmai kalong
pakateng jonga de lahun chaling khoi nak senong meriau ka Mauthat Raisan block Eastern West Khasi Hill district te ka ai ka jingyo ka bangi ngilale haduk mentan haduk senam arfu ar ngilas dang ya kani kalong bak ka jingyo ha ka bede bat ka rap karyang ka bangi ngitung khamtam ha ka banga ngala persang ha per jonga kala long ka arsha ya ka ba menshwa katkum ka jingyo I menshwa ka khandau ka kham kala kham long dry kala kham long terkhong bha rai ha bangi pej menta pade ka khandau kala kham I sengam bha ka kala kham I sengam bat kum joro kala kham I im
kiai kita ki rukam kimde ki rukam tenrai ki bau long shwa la batai yangi la ni ka rukam rap jong ki long shwa kedai ke rukam rap ke batmai hakano rukam pilong men batai company kong lahun
te ha ka mening kong haus nem arjar arpo ar hau benai Desember ki lawan ki external community resource person po Andhra Pradesh lingba ka MSS bakila pha po Mauthat Raisan block bat ki lawan syapo snong jongi te ngila lum lingba ka WO village organization ngila kila lum yakini ki SHG member baro khoi bangin ya sengap ya ka ka bakini ki kibriu lani kini hikai ki banabar ki wan ban hikai po snong jongi te kata kapor ngangala longkum I nong penkelaktin ya ki wei pat kinong rap nakaktin English ya kaktin Khasi namar ngilong ta kinong rap bun ngim suthu ya kaktin nong wei te ngala long tang inong penkelaktin kata kapor te ka ngala yo kata kacing smuthu ba kane kalong ka ba wanra ya kacing bha khamtam menta ka kot ka khya nam ta ka chim ko jongi ngam na perkhat meningkong ngam na perkhat nam ta ka ching yo kayo ka kot ndai ka baning kong kalong nam ta ka kot ka khya ka ka ba ki hikai yangi ki athu yangi bat kat kum ka presentation ka ba ki la ai ngi I ba ka ching ko ching khya ka baning kong te den kata kum I translator ngala lej kata ka training bat ngala penkelaktin syakinong rap te kala wan ka ching suthu hanga ba kadon kam ya kabangan le te ngala persang ha kper jonga ya ka ka baki ki hikai ngala persang ha po kper jonga te anda kini ki na po block office Mauthat Raisan block kilo I ka bangang lale hafil bak lejet yang akum itai internal community resource person banga ngala ban hikai pat ikiwai
kendiat sipanggani ke rukam rap ka ba kimpen non kami ki sbo dawai la ni ki fertilizer ki dawai penyap kenyang pilong man batai company
te hakabayade bat kini ki sbo ki bangi ngisnahi kabaning kong hakacaka chung kadawai urea ngila pendenkam da kata gahana jibamrut te kata gahana jibamrut kabangi ngisna da kabangi khle lang ka masi ubesan mithai umpi masi bat ka virgin soil kamut katu ka khandau ka bampat chuyo dawai chemicals men menong ngisem ya ta khandau te ya kata kasbo kalong ban pen ki im biang ya ki ngit jing em haka khandau bakan pen he pensan yu jing thung nang ta na ka benta kini ki dawai khinyang kum ki pesticide baki ong ngi da ka jing yo jing hikai na ki ni ki external committee resource person ngi yo ban khet da ki ni ki sla ki bangi ngi dan po snong jongi ya ka bangi ngin pendan kami gitu bangin shed lang bat ka umpi masi nang ta ngi sala pat de ban filter ya ka tum tin kle bat ka ngi sa spray pat gi jing thung kaya rap ban pen pet no ya nyang lani gitu ki insects ki bawan ban bam itu gi jing thung sekiwai pat
Iway na kinong ay jingkran hagani ka jinyalang menta si batai ba ka jingyo nong kalong hadu laisha sausya bania ka bamenswa hadin laisna mapilarep hagani ka rukom habatai kindiap
hakabaya dei bat ka jingyo nong hakaba menswa ngia thung tang hakapor telang bun bangia thung tang uterso handrai lengba kani intervention ngi layo ban ngi lanang pade ban thung crop diversity bangin thung bun jat hakajuk ka jaka nyu jat prajat tentang haduk khat ar khat lai jat hakawai ka jaka la ka kham he te ka jing yo nong kalong ba ka baning kong ka ka bangi ngi bam haying menswa ngi thung tang uterso bar kiwai ki chor bangi bam ngi haban thit na yo handrai menta pade da ka bangi thung bun jat ngim dan kam shu ban thit ki chor jongi bangin bam haying na yo bar kawai ro menta habangi di ki chor hayo teng uterso uduna dor bha te u kajor pade u kham rem dor te leng ba kata ro ngiyo nong ken haba uduna dor uterso hreng kecing kiu kalong na u kajor u ba kham rem dor ngiyo bande seyo te kata karu kom bangila thung bun jai ka dor ro ka compare ken de tang betung uterso shifau teng ka shikhum baro ka wai ker ngi de tang shifau teng ka shikhum te anda ladang ngiyo tang si hajar khum ngiyo tang khendiat ka pisa hreng lada mentang ngi thung lang uterso u kajor ta umuli u kubi u phul kubi bun jai shifau khat arjat ngila bantung kacing yo nong kalong ba na kitu ki iwe pu jat la kacam ka dor bat ngi yo nong ken ka kiu ken kacing yo bar ha ka baye de bat ukba menswa ha po pentor ko ba jonga karit ba ka pentor ko ba ngayo tang lai sau berni rai menta pade hadu nyo pra berning la yo no ta pentor ko ba
piong pila yo ya kani jing kai la laisnam menta
ha
hadin laisnam pada nang ni syakmat ka kai ka ba pi khmilenti kanja hakanor kom pinang roy nang kiu artet
hapo kini kilai snem habalajit yang akum itai internal community resource person ngalayo banlek training sepo Andhra Pradesh posngi kadika training kom exposure visit te anda lawan pai nang te ngalawan ban implement pai kini ki model ki baki ki likai hapo Andhra Pradesh ngalayo ilu jonggi khmat bat kumta ngalawan le hapo feel jonga te nang ta ngala ai jingi kai ru ikinong rap menta hapo meriau kiladan hadu shispa ar khunrungut kinong rap ki bala sedang banlek kena farming daki model ki baper kumba PUE mene kidan ki ATM model kidan ki A grade model kidan ki surya model nang ta kidan ro ki agri nutri garden ya ki kitchen garden menswa ngi penkelano haki agri nutri garden ka bamut bangi de bantung bun cai inde tang si jat jat nyo jat ki jing thung
to ka ba keng ngakali kalong ba nang ni syakmat laisnam nang ni kai ka ba pi la ban yo i lupa
ka lais nem nang Indonesia khmat ka ka bangi kum kinong yalam nani ki leadership mo ha bayde berkani kana cha farming ka bangi ngila transform hapo snong ngi kermen ba hat kini ki snem ban wan lais nem ngi kermen ba khamtam ka snong mo meriau bakan yolong kata ka bio village kemut baru ka wai ka snong bakin thung klem dawai klem de penan kam kinu ki dawai chemicals fertilizer lani ki pesticide bangin penan kam baik de kita ki sebok bangi sinahi
ki ai pat ki jing ki ba phia kendo ha ba phi lait ban batai ki nong rep ya kani ka rukom rep
ka jing ka baning kong kalong ba kinong rep nomor babun bun snem ki pendan kam bhai kini ki dawai chemicals te ka jing kalong ba kim pediang ya ka bangi ngi kren seki nomor ba ki ong ba ladangi ngi thung kum ne ru ngi biang te kajing ka de kata bakim pediang hanrei leng ba kidan ki nong rep pade ka solution jeng kata pade kidan ki nong rep ki bawan syakmat te leng ba kitu ki nong rep ki bawan syakmat pade ki kiwei pat ki nong rep ki yo i ya ka baki kiwei ki nong rep ki le bat ki i ka chi yo nong nang ta ki labut ya ki ka
hagani ka jing yalang ka bamenta kala don ru ka jing ya soi soskular hapdeng ka SCEP ka MSRLS bat ka The Nudge Institute ban pen klein shushu bat ban aji hikai yaki nongrep hakeleng ka Meghalaya. Uti Vijay Kumar u officer IAS Balasong Thai ulaong baki nongrep menta ki shem jing bha namar ba ka jinglut kat banang mi usnem kalanang kiu bat ka jinglong jiman jong ka sun mineng ru ka kala na kapor sa kapor bat kimla ban shania ha ka rep jongki. Ulaong ba ka jing ai da wais bo ru ka pentron ya ka khendau Rei leng bagani garukam rap kabatamai la laban weng yakani gajing jongki nong rap. Very good idea, the natural farming. Can you tell us more about it?
See, farmers everywhere are in great difficulty because every year the costs are increasing. And then the weather also, extreme weather events. There is rain when it should not rain, and it doesn't rain when you require the rain. Whereas earlier, all this was very streamlined. So farmers are not happy. They are not making enough money to take care of their household's requirements. And the food that is produced is also not very nutritious. So it's not helping our health. Our health is also getting worse day by day. You hear of new diseases. But most of the diseases are caused by the food that we are eating. Because either the food has chemicals or it doesn't have the nutrients it should have. But beyond this, what is very dangerous is the chemical agriculture is creating very negative consequences for the environment. So soil fertility is going down, water requirement is going up. So neither farmers are happy, nor we are happy eating that food. And beyond that is the damage being done to the environment. So through natural farming, through one method, we are fixing all the problems. So that's the beauty of natural farming. Natural farming is farming in harmony with nature. Farming which builds up natural capital. By doing that, we are able to reduce the costs. Farmers can prepare these inputs themselves. They don't have to buy from the market. They can grow healthy crops. So natural farming is something which is good for farmers, for consumers, and for planet. That is the simplest way I can put.
Okay, this is similar to going back to what our forefathers taught us, but it is not exactly the same way as in the new method, the natural farming. Can you go a little deeper?
Okay, no, you're absolutely right. See, it is similar to our forefathers because we are not using any chemicals. That way we are similar. Similar to our forefathers because our forefathers respected nature. Natural farming respects nature. And our forefathers also saw the interconnections. The air, the sun, the rain, the creatures, they all saw them as part of one. They didn't think that human beings separate, these are separate, I can exploit them. So to that sense, it is the same. But when it comes to the technology, our forefathers believed that after a crop is harvested, so the crop has depleted nutrient from the soil, so we should provide nutrients to the soil. So that's why there's a lot of use of crop residues as compost or as farmyard manure. So it was a difficult task to collect so much of manure. So here what we are saying is learn from nature. So science is telling us plants actually feed the soil. And that's a big revelation to me 10 years ago when I started this work. And this is the biggest difference between what our forefathers were doing, thinking and doing, and what the chemical agriculture, taught us. So here we are saying farming or plants do not require even 1 gram of fertilizer, whether chemical fertilizer or organic fertilizer. So that is a change. And that is because in the forest area, has anybody put fertilizers? No. Nobody has irrigated the forest, but there are beautiful trees in the forest. There's so much of biodiversity in the forest. So there is something, you know, Mother Nature has done which we did not understand. So when the scientists who are in this bent of mind, they did research, they found that every plant is pushing 30-40% of the food it makes from photosynthesis into the soil. So the plants are feeding the soil, and this food is actually food for the microbes in the soil. So the microbes consuming this food are in return providing to the plant all other elements that plant requires: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, boron, zinc, manganese, some 30, 40, 50 elements that a healthy plant requires. So these are the friends of the farmers. Friends, so the plants are feeding them. If the plants were not feeding them, they will not do this work. So if the plants are feeding them, they want the plant to be healthy. Plant is healthy only when it gets all the nutrients. So it's a beautiful exchange system of Mother Nature. Once we understand that, we'll change our behavior. So that way this natural farming is built on this particular science of plants feeding the soil, the plant food being the food for microbes, and microbes getting all the elements that the plants require, right quantity and right time.
But how is the yield though compared to the other produce, farm produce that are done with using chemical fertilizers and biofertilizers?
Yeah, in all the states, especially in Meghalaya, we are finding that the farmers in the very first year are getting similar yields but at a much lower cost. So there is no decrease in the yields. In addition, in natural farming, we always advise them to have a lot of intercrops. So they are getting the main crop, but also they are getting income and food from the intercrops. So there is absolutely no decline in the yields if all the practices are followed. Supposing you don't do anything and then say the yield must come, it will not happen. There are some protocols, very simple protocols. If those protocols are followed, any farmer, the most illiterate farmer also, can get similar yields or higher yields.
You were mentioning something about schizophrenia. You know, in one part, the agriculture department is encouraging the use of chemical fertilizers, whereas in, the state, rural livelihood society is encouraging this natural farming. Can you say something about that?
You see, it's like this. Natural farming is just starting. So 99% farmers are doing chemical agriculture. Over a period of time, this number will change. So till natural farming expands, the state government needs to take care of the chemical agriculture farmers. 99% right now, number will decrease. So they also need a more scientific approach. So every agriculture department should be conscious that farmers must use chemicals judiciously. So agriculture department is also saying that, but agriculture department cannot say don't use chemical fertilizers. They can say you don't use excess. But it's a fact of life. Till natural farming numbers become 50%. So that it's a question of the transition. So every state, every government has to navigate the transition. But even in the transition period, agriculture department can learn lessons from natural farming, take this advice also to farmers.
Now, Meghalaya is yet in the nascent stage.
Yes,
of natural
yes,
farming.
yes.
It is also quite difficult, I understand, to encourage the farmers to go into this natural farming. What else can be done in order to get that 50% of the farmers?
I think Meghalaya is on the right path. Initially, it will be very slow because it's spreads from one farmer's experience to another farmer. I have seen the Meghalaya farmers. I'll be interacting with them, so they have succeeded. But they can tell 10 people. Out of 10, only 2 people may practice. So we find in Andhra Pradesh also, it took me 10 years to move from 40,000 farmers to 12 lakh farmers in 10 years. So 12 lakh farmers means 20% farmers we achieved last year. This year from 20% I am achieving 30% farmers. So after some time the speed increases, but it's the initial 5 years, 7 years that will move slowly. So except the strengthening the master farmers, building their capacities, then if there are some innovations in one village, take it to another village. So it is through building the capacities of the master farmers in Meghalaya, the building on the women self-help group movement. Meghalaya has done an excellent job. So once the women become conscious that they need to change, so then things will pick up. So you are on the right path.
Yeah, so especially, as you said, the most excluded, the people from the lower rung of the society.
Correct.
The small farmers.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. It is best suited for them. They don't have to buy anything from outside. They can make it themselves. It's like do-it-yourself farming. And best suited for the most vulnerable people, small marginal farmers. And they will teach others. So it's an extra, recognition that they have done a good work as a farmer.
Great. Well, is there any message that perhaps?
Okay. I would like to say I'm very impressed with the Meghalaya State Rural Livelihood Society, Meghalaya government. First of all, for taking up natural farming through the Rural Livelihoods Mission. About 3.5 years ago, the partnership between Andhra Pradesh government and Meghalaya government started, and the progress has been very impressive. And I commend the government of Meghalaya, the Additional Chief Secretary, Mr. Sampath, and the Mission Director of Meghalaya State Rural Livelihood Society, Mr. Ramkrishna, and all the staff of the Meghalaya team. But my biggest appreciation is for the farmers of Meghalaya. They are on the right path. They will prove to be model farmers for the entire country. So, Meghalaya, you are on the right path. Please continue to move ahead and have a vision of changing the whole state in the next 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years. Thank you.
Nilayo la rubanya kren bat ka Sengmichi Sangma kanong rep ka bana Rongjeng Garo Hills District. Ka Sengmichi ka dairu ka Internal Community Resource Person for Natural Farming. Kalaya tu bakatip syapang ka natural farming leng baka jing ai jing hikai jong ka MSRLS kabalay lamru iya ka sya Andhra Pradesh bat hadian bakalawan pai kalakalalong kum ka nong ai jing hikai yaki weipat ginong rep Harilom Garo.
Ang ni musik mechi sang mau anga jambarong stelni aro ang ni group aman chiga tangong bio de chiru agate bio jamborong jeng block East Garo Hills district dige mungna anga ya nature farming una nature farming ko kana kata angko dilba ni de pa ang ni yako kana baching ani de BMMU through aro MSRLS through ang aya ko kana kata baching ha bisong ni dakchak ani chi anga Andhra Pradesh na hasal gani khogr kani September jaoni October jaona skira na kata watatani ko matna ha
yan ning nakanirang ko manani gisepon ara may dakke yan nature farming ko talo na kung dakpa na kata matninga
anga ya nikanirang ko ang ya nature farming ko kaan yo nikanirang ko chagrong ginchim umang ba anga saksan tangkon khang pa nga aro nikanirang ko anga latte ri mukhanga jidak ko de anga yarang ko nambate rakang na ba nambata ko saksak kepenang na utnang na bas kiang na mai kaman gen uni gemasanga bang bate jothon ka ande ken anga daalo na kengkeng angi icik mas karang ko aro angni songko aro ba nga ko na nga dingtangat na ba farmer ko dingtangat na tamat na kami gi cha ni rang ko dingtang ani ko mat na niara ya ko chapchiki ning ni rang ko chapchiki dingtangat ta ning ko mat na niara
Ka natural farming, kam day tangka jing ay jing yadaya ka mariang, nrei ka plelat plelen tiru, kumno ban penkelaya ka yo ka kot jong kinong rep. Lengbaga ni ka conclave, kala don ka jing yateri yatai ka babniya bah. Kabadon ru ya ka tong baka Meghalaya kan day ka jela kaban lamkmat bat kaban ay nuksa hagari India barok kaway. Ka Northeast Conclave 2.0 ka day ka lempung jong ki kraw perkat kinong wat bnia kinong yalam jong ka State Rural Livelihood Mission na kaleng. Kumjur kinong rep ki palaywan ban shimenta. Kani ka day ka rensan ban yateri yatai ban ai jengmut bat ban the ki bot kumno ban pen stat shu ya ga jing kiu jong ka roi kapar lengba ka rep karyang ka ba om pendon kami ki dawai sbo lani ki dawai penyap kenyang bat ki wei.